All right, so get ready for this deep dive, because today we're going to be looking at a document, and it's strange and kind of funny.
Yeah, what's so interesting about this document is that when you first look at it, it just seems like way too simple, almost meaningless, you know?
Yeah.
But it's that simplicity that makes you want to look closer, you know?
Exactly. It's like when you find a perfectly smooth stone, like you have to know what made it that way. What stories does it tell? So what is this document? Let's tell everyone listening.
Well, so imagine like a document, right? And it's just filled with poo-poo pee-pee, and it's written over and over and over, like countless times, and there's almost no changes.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's like someone was really trying to get that phrase stuck in our heads forever.
Yeah, pretty much.
So how do you even analyze something like that? Where do you even start?
Yeah, I mean, it really makes you think differently about language and meaning, you know? Like we want to find patterns and structures and like a message in everything.
Right.
But this document just doesn't have that.
So is it just a meaningless bunch of words? Or could there be something more to it, hiding beneath the surface?
I mean, that's the big question, right? One way to think about it is like maybe it's some form of really, really old type of communication.
Like some caveman writing about their day, like, poo-poo pee-pee mammoth got out again.
Uh-huh. I mean, that's funny, but probably not. See, because real communication needs structure, grammar, you know, a way to to say different things. And this document, it just doesn't have that.
Okay, so it's not caveman diary. But maybe it's a code. Like, could poo-poo pee-pee stand for a letter or number or symbol or something?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, but without any key or like system to figure it out, it'd just be like trying to solve a puzzle, but, you know, with no picture and like half the pieces are missing. It would all just be guessing.
So if it's not a message, what else could it be? It's like the repetition makes me think of like I don't know, like a chant.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's not a bad thought. Think about like mantras used in meditation, where people repeat a word or phrase to get into a certain state of mind.
Yeah, or even just like a lullaby. They're repetitive and they
Yeah.
have a rhythm and it's, to soothe and comfort. So maybe our poo-poo pee-pee document does something similar, just in a more like different way.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Which, you know, that makes me think, like, what if this document is using repetition, but just as a sound?
You mean like those songs that get stuck in your head, like earworms and stuff?
Exactly. Like, they might not have, like, a deep meaning, but they get stuck in your head because they repeat. And this document, even though it's weird, it might be doing the same thing.
So it's not about what it means, it's about how it makes you feel.
Yeah, exactly. And that makes me think of another possibility. Maybe it's art.
Now we're talking. It's provocative, and it makes you question, like, what language and meaning even are, right? That sounds like modern art to me.
Yeah, maybe. Like, think about the early 1900s. There was this art movement, Dadaism, and they really liked to use things that were absurd, nonsensical to kind of critique society.
So are you saying, like, instead of a painting of a flower, they'd just, like, put a toilet in a museum and call it art?
Yeah, pretty much. The point wasn't the object, it was about how people reacted to it, the questions it made them ask about art and meaning, even like what's considered good taste.
Okay, so maybe our poo-poo pee-pee document won't be in a museum, but it's definitely making us think about those same things. It makes us decide what's art and what's just nonsense.
And that's important to think about. It makes us realize that meaning doesn't always come from the thing itself, but from the person looking at it.
So you're saying the meaning of poo-poo pee-pee isn't like set in stone. It changes depending on who's reading it.
Exactly. Someone might think it's just silly kid stuff, and someone else might think it's really deep, like a blank page they can write their own meaning on.
So is there even a point in analyzing something like this if the meaning is different for everyone? Aren't we just going around in circles?
Not really. Even if there's no one right answer, just thinking about this document, trying to find meanings, can teach us something.
Really? How?
Well, think about it. Our brains are always looking for patterns, trying to understand the world, even when things seem random.
So when we try to make sense of poo-poo pee-pee, it's like we're working out our brains.
Yeah, exactly. And in a world where we're always being told what to think, what to buy, what to believe, I mean, it's really important to be able to think critically.
That's true. We're so used to being told what to do that it's actually refreshing to see something that doesn't fit into a neat little box.
Yeah, it's like a palate cleanser for your mind.
I like that. So we shouldn't try to force a meaning onto this document. We should just let it be ambiguous. Just be curious about it, confused by it, Maybe even laugh at it,
Exactly. It's about enjoying the journey, not just trying to get to the destination.
which is a pretty deep thought to get from something called poo-poo-pee-pee.
Yeah, it shows how important it is to be open-minded, to find value in strange places.
And maybe if we change our perspective, if we embrace the absurd, we can find new ways of thinking, new ways of seeing the world.
Maybe that's the biggest lesson we can learn from all of this.
So we started out wondering what poo-poo-pee-pee even could be, and now we're talking about like really deep stuff about art and meaning and how our brains work.
It's kind of wild how something so simple can make you think in so many different ways.
It really is, and that's what I love about deep dives like this. You just never know where you'll end up.
Yeah, sometimes the weirdest paths lead to the most interesting places.
I like how you put that. This document, with all its repetition and the fact that it doesn't really have a traditional meaning, I don't know, it makes you think about what language even is, what art is, even what it means to be intelligent.
Yeah, it reminds us that we see things through the lens of our own experiences, our own biases, and that there isn't always one right way to see something, especially with art.
So as we finish up this deep dive into poo-poo-pee-pee, what's the last thing we want to leave our listeners with?
Don't be afraid of things that are unfamiliar, things that seem like nonsense. Just be open-minded, keep asking questions, and you might find something really cool, even in the strangest places.
I love that. And hey, if you're ever staring at a blank page, like literally or figuratively, and you don't know what to make of it all, just remember, poo-poo-pee-pee. Sometimes the deepest ideas are the simplest ones.
Or at least they make for an interesting conversation.
Definitely. This has been The Deep Dive. We'll be back next time with another deep dive into something unexpected. Until then, happy pondering.